Well, I grew up idolizing Bart Starr, so when I moved to town 25 years ago, I got to meet him, and I was in complete awe of the athlete. But as I got to know him, and actually became a good friend of his over these past 25 years, I was blown away by the man. He was the consummate gentleman, very considerate, kind, always sending a note of encouragement, calling with encouragement, congratulations, very humble. I have a 13-year-old son, and if there's a way I could point him in the direction of being the type of man that Bart Starr was, I would be thrilled. He was just a very unique person, one of the most unique and kindest, most considerate people I've met in my entire life.
I remember when Rob sent me on that assignment to go to his house, he said, that's going to be one of those things that sticks with you forever. And I was like, it'll be fine. I walked in there, I was really impressed just by his aura. Just looking at him and just knowing what his history is. Do you get that same feeling?
One year we had Bart Starr play with, one year at our golf tournament at Greystone, we had Bart Starr play with Brett Favre in the Pro-Am. And Brett was at the top of his game, three-time MVP from the league, but was a little rowdy. And I watched during the course of the day, Bart, in a very gentle way, give Brett encouragement and direction on the role model that he needed to be. And I watched in awe as Brett hung on every word that Bart said. He commanded such respect. He had this aura about him, but he didn't want you to make a fuss over him. The quickest way to get him a little irritated was to try and make a fuss over him. Just a very, very decent human being, a great gentleman. The marriage that he had with his wife, Cherry, was something to behold, and I try and emulate in my marriage. He had when he had his 50th wedding anniversary, Bart Jr. called and said, we're collecting letters from all of his friends to put in an album to present to our parents on the day of their 50th anniversary. Would you write a letter? And I gladly did so. And I remember saying in my letter, as I'm sure most people did, if we could emulate your marriage, we would all be so lucky.
Yes, we would.
Because they were childhood sweethearts, married at 20, and adored each other. He doted on Cherry every time I was around them. He told the Ice Bowl story many times, and it got funnier each time he told it because of the interaction he had with Lombardi on that famous play back in 1967. I remember he was the Grand Marshal of our IndyCar event one year, and we had the IndyCar drivers around, including some of the team owners, and most notably Roger Penske, who was from that era, and he's telling the Ice Bowl story, and Penske is hanging on every word he is saying about that, one of the most famous plays in NFL history. So Bart was obviously a phenomenal athlete, but an even better person, and that's going to be his legacy.